Another example of it here. Schools and sporting teams are urged to fly the LGBTQI plus flag for equality. This is a story from the Herald Sun that was around today. That schools and sporting groups are bringing unisex bathrooms, forming non-gendered playing teams and flying rainbow flags in a bid to be more inclusive. Okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem. Your choice. But then, restrictions on terms like mum, dad, boyfriend, girlfriend are also part of a push to curb the dropout and suicide rates of LGBTQI plus young people. Richo, again, you know, I'm a great believer in don't be a dick, right? You know, that's a pretty simple system where you, be it the trans kid, the person in the wheelchair, the tall person, the fat person, or throw in the skin colour, right? If people want to have non-gendered bathrooms, I'm not going to fight that fight, right? Okay, good luck. Do what you want. But to turn around and say, when the majority of people have a mum and dad, you shouldn't use terms like mum and dad?
I'm just bewildered. Maybe I'm getting too old, but that is so absurd. Calling your mum mum and your dad dad is kind of normal, and I wouldn't have wanted to call my mother anything else. I don't like the idea of calling them by their first name or something. Mum was mum, and that's who mum ought to be. And why do we want to change it? What's the reason? What compels us to do this? I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I mean, again, Pauline, it's this thing where we saw last week some changes that are about the respected work business that takes Our Watch, an activist group, and puts them at the heart now of workplace legislation. And one of their things is you've got to remove gendered language. Don't say things like mum, dad, boy, girl.
Paul, I've really had a gutful of all this rubbish that's going on, and say that the LGBTIQ plus and kids and having the same sex bathrooms or toilets to go to is rubbish. You know, at a school, I remember that when we had our swimming, I went to an all-girls school and into year 7, and if I was to think back then when we were changing to actually go into a swimming class, and if I'd had boys there, I wouldn't have got out of my clothes. It would never have happened. And to actually think of going to a toilet there with boys there, I think it's disgusting to actually think of that, because you know, girls need their privacy and so do boys, and I don't want to see them mixing and you have more problems going on. The total confusion that's going around today with boys and girls, they wouldn't know whether they're Arthur or Martha. I don't blame them. They're having all these mental problems, and apparently the report that I read, what's happening in the UK, is horrendous, where they're headed down this path of letting these kids choose their own gender identity, and parents who then encourage this is absolutely ridiculous. I don't give a damn, and people shouldn't have any be worrying about a kid's sexual preference at that age. When they're children, they will decide as they get older into their teens and in reaching past puberty, then they will decide. But the fact is, you know, should we be asking kids or worrying about whether you're a homosexual or whether you're a lesbian or whether you have leanings towards it? A person's sexual preference, especially in schools and sporting clubs, is no one's business. And you're only making more problems by having this division or saying you want them to be inclusive. It was never a problem with my growing up. We didn't have these issues. And we are making it an issue, and we are really destroying our society by pushing this agenda. And if people go along with it, the fools you are. Because to actually then say that, well, we got to stop saying mum and dad, or what gender, or what pronoun do you like to be known as, him or her, you know, truly, people, consider it. Speak up against it, have your say, because if you don't speak up, it will go through and it will be taught in our schools, and then that's our generations coming through. And I feel sorry for the future generations, I really do.